Hello everyone, this is Romer, and today's video I will discuss ecosystems. Let's first discuss the abiotic environment. An abiotic environment refers to the physical or non-living environment of an ecosystem. Organisms are affected by physical factors in their environment. These factors are light, temperature, air, water, and pH level or acidity and alkalinity. Let's proceed to light. Light provides warmth to organisms. Light also supports photosynthesis, and light enables organisms to find food and avoid danger. Temperature. Temperature affects the growth, activities, and survival of organisms. Air. Most organisms need oxygen for respiration. Plants need carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. Water, the basic substance for survival of animals, needed by plants for photosynthesis, provides habitat for marine life. pH level. pH level determines the types of organisms living in a particular land or water. Let's proceed to biotic environment. The biotic environment refers to all the living things that an organism comes in contact with. It consists of producers, plants, consumers, which are animals, and decomposers, which is fungi and bacteria. Producers. Producers are green plants that manufacture food substances from raw materials and convert energy into sunlight to chemical forms of energy. Consumers. Consumers obtain their energy and materials from other organisms on which they feed on. Consumers consist of primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers, and apex predators. Let's start with primary consumers. Primary consumers are herbivores that feed directly on plants. Secondary consumers are carnivores that feed on herbivores. Tertiary consumers are animals that feed on secondary consumers. And the last one is the apex predators. Apex predators are animals that feed on tertiary consumers. I have a question. What will happen if producers and consumers die? There's another part in the ecosystem which is the decomposers. These are organisms that feed on bodies of dead matter. Examples of these organisms are fungi and bacteria. Let's now proceed to the energy transfer in an ecosystem, which is the food chains and food web. Food chain. Food chain is the transfer of energy from producers to a series of organisms with the repeated process of eating and being eaten. So this is an example of a food chain. The water plant is the producer. It was eaten by the water snail, this is the primary consumer. The duck, it's the water snail. This means that this is the secondary consumer. And the last one is the tertiary consumer, which is crocodiles and it, the duck. Each stage in the food chain is called trophic level. Food webs. Food webs are complex food relationships that exist in communities in a natural ecosystem. In a community, food chains are linked to form a food web. Refer to the picture below. This is the producer. These three are the primary consumers. They were eaten by spider, and the aphid is eaten by a ladybug. So this means that this is the secondary consumer. The spider and the ladybug was eaten by a bird. This means that this is the tertiary consumer. In a food web, we can see that each plant or animal can be part of several food chains. Pyramid of energy. Here's an example below of the pyramid of energy. Producers have 100%. In primary consumer, energy lost. 90% was lost, and now it is already 10. The secondary consumer is already 1%, and the tertiary consumer 0.1% of energy they can get. Relationships that exist in an ecosystem. This is also called the ecological relationship. All living organisms interact with one another to survive. This interaction of either the same species or different species is mainly because of food and shelter. There are a few types of interactions between one group of organisms and another group in an ecosystem. The following are interactions existing in an ecosystem. It consists of mutualism, commensalism, amensalism, parasitism, predation, and competition. Let's first discuss the mutualism. In this kind of relationship, both organisms benefit from each other. This picture is a mutualism. This is the termite. This is the flagellate. Flagellate lives inside the termite. As you can see in the next picture, a clownfish and its shelter is also an example of mutualism. Commensalism. Commensalism is a relationship between two organisms wherein one organism benefits from the relationship while the second organism is unaffected by it. As a larva, the monarch butterfly feeds on milkweed. Do you know what is a milkweed? Milkweed is a plant that contains a poisonous chemical called cardiac glycoside. Amensalism. In this kind of relationship, the growth of one organism is inhibited while the other is unaffected. Just an example in the picture, the big tree and the two small trees. Parasitism. This is a relationship between two organisms wherein one organism, which is the parasite, benefits for growth and reproduction while the other organism, which is the host, is harmed. Ectoparasites are parasites that live outside the body of the host. Mosquitoes, lice, bedbugs, aphids, and ticks are examples of ectoparasites. Endoparasites are parasites that live inside the body of the host. Worms, such as hookworms and roundworms, that infest humans and animals are endoparasites. This is an example of ectoparasites, and this is an example of endoparasites. Predation. Predators are either carnivores, which are meat-eating organisms, or omnivores, plant and meat-eating organisms. In this type of relationship, an organism, which is the prey, is hunted and eaten by a stronger organism, which is the predator. An example is in the picture: a lion and a zebra. Competition. A competition exists when an ecosystem has reached its carrying capacity. Thus, there is competition for food, space, and resources. Examples are hyenas and lions. That's it. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video, click the bell, share, and comment down below. And of course, subscribe to both of my channels, which is Study and Explore with Romer and Learn with Romer. Link in the description. That's it for today. Bye. Stay safe at home.